Welcome, everybody, to the fourth episode of FG's and Threes. We're talking football today. I'm Jaden Rogers, joined with me, as usual, Alex Martell and Ryan Martell.
And Ryan Martell.
And we're going to do a little catch-up on the NFL free agency, some biggest signings that happened, and there were some big signings. And we're going to go through our winners and losers today. So we're going to start off with our winners. Ryan, you want to
go? Sure. Okay. I think a winner definitely for this free agency though. Has to be the Giants. One of the many winners of the free agency. The Giants, they went out and they got targets, or they got targets for Daniel Jones. I mean, they got Kyle Rudolph, a reliable tight end who can catch the ball, hasn't dropped the ball in 2 years. So hopefully they can rely on him more in the fourth.
I have a question. Let me just interrupt. Is it going to matter? Daniel Jones is awful. He can't throw. It's not going to matter if he hasn't dropped the ball because he's not going to get any balls thrown to him.
We'll get to that. So
okay. I just wanted to make that point.
Kyle Rudolph. They re-signed Leonard Williams, the second best D tackle in the league, obviously behind Aaron Donald. They improved their secondary immensely, getting Adoree Jackson. Mm-hmm. I think they overpaid for him, but he was a former first-round pick, and he was a Pro Bowler. I think. Was he a Pro Bowler? I don't believe so. I don't think he was. He's had a couple good seasons in the NFL.
Yeah, we know he's good.
Yeah, he's worth. I don't know if he's worth that money, but he's worth that money in the sense that they have that second guy now.
Yeah.
They have that second corner. So they're good. On either side, they have a guy that can travel.
Exactly. And plus, they got the big guy, Kenny Galladay. 4 years, $72 million, $76 million with incentives. I mean, they got their big play receiver. They still have Darius Slayton. They have Sterling Shepard. They have Pro Bowler Evan Ingram.
Pro Bowler Evan Ingram?
Pro Bowler Evan Ingram. But, and obviously they got Saquon Barkley. He's a top 5 running back in the league.
He's top 2 and he's not 2. He's top 2 and he's not 2. That's all I got to say.
Derrick Henry, sir?
Listen, you give me a healthy Saquon Barkley, I'm taking him over any back in the league, personally.
Well, he has to show me that he's the best back in the league because he hasn't been available the last 2 years since his rookie year. So I'm going to give him top.
Once he gets back to the swing of things, we'll see if that holds up. But I think he'll still be great.
Hopefully they go ahead and draft line, the Giants. They are set up very well. I do think they're one of the winners. Hopefully they go ahead and draft some O-line throughout and just get a bunch of guys, a bunch of O-linemen, because they need to not only protect Danny Dimes, but Saquon as well.
Here's the thing. This team has a lot of potential. Joe Judge, I think he's a great coach. Obviously, I live with 2 roommates who are Giants fans, so I watched every Giants game last year. And I've seen the potential in this Giants team. They're a very young team, but they do have a lot of potential. And I think this year we're going to see them turn that potential into reality. I do think with what they have so far, they can make the playoffs. And this was even before free agency. I said they were going to make the playoffs just because of their defense alone. Their offense was going to progress. Now with Kenny Galladay, they're going to progress even more. Kyle Rudolph, he's going to help Evan Ingram learn how to catch a freaking football. So,
and let's not forget what division they're in.
They're also in the NFC East.
Yeah, so, they don't have to be that good to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're the NFC Beast. Thank you very much.
How much they win by in this in the NFC East, or like how many wins they get, is all based on how Daniel Jones performs. I am not high on Daniel Jones. I don't think anyone here is high on Daniel Jones.
No.
I think the best they can go next year is 10-7. Now, if he surprises us and has a great season, they can go 13-4 because I do believe they will have a top 5 defense next year. They had a top 5 defense this year. And they got better on defense. And sitting at 11, they can easily take Micah Parsons. I think he drops to 11. Micah Parsons will help immensely with this team. So, but of course, we don't know what's going to happen with the draft. I think they should go Micah Parsons. But with everything that's lining up, this team is going to be good. But it all depends on Danny Dimes. But for right now, they are a free agency winner.
All right. Yeah, I see it. Because their struggle last season was definitely offense. They were sputtering there, but their defense, like you said, it was solid.
Well,
they bolstered it a little bit more with the Dory and
I wasn't in agreement with you there at first, but you know what? They did make some really good moves. Let me say this: they're set up really well for. They've given Daniel Jones every opportunity this year to go ahead and prove himself. If he does bad, you got to move off him this year. Cut him. If he does bad, they have gave him every opportunity this year. They're going to have a great defense. They're going to have a great number one receiver in Galladay. Sterling Shepard's now a number 2, which he's a good receiver, not great. Shouldn't have ever been a number 1. Now he's in a good position. Slayton, they got Barkley's coming back. This is the optimum year for Daniel Jones to do good.
They did sign John Ross, who is just a burner. We all know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've seen John Ross have great games. I think a lot of his struggles had to do with Cincinnati, if I'm going to be honest, because we've seen him put it together for a couple games in a row where he'll have 100 yards and a touchdown, like 3-4 games in a row. We've seen that from him. So I'm not so sure we should give up on John Ross yet. I didn't even know
he's not going to produce those kind of numbers with all the other receivers on the Giants.
Right.
But it's going to give Danny a great deep target.
Threat for Daniel Jones.
And with John Ross's ability to catch the ball wherever it goes, because his speed, he's able to, correct himself wherever the ball is going. It'll definitely help with Danny Dimes' accuracy a little bit.
I think,
especially on deep throws.
Daniel Jones will have 3 touchdowns off of play action in the I formation. He's going to play action to Saquon Barkley. John Ross is going to be on the outside. He's just going to chuck it up to him, and he's going to run by the corner.
I can already see it. That's going to be a staple of their playbook.
Yeah, they're going to
be a big one.
Deshaun Jackson. And he could be a Deshaun Jackson. He just also needs to stay healthy. But Giants, big free agency winners.
Like Deshaun Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah. So my winner, I don't know if this is going to be yours, Alex, but I think we agree on it. Is it's definitely the Patriots.
Oh yeah.
They took what happened last year and completely turned it around. Just a complete 180. They re-signed Cam. They expect him to be good. I hope he does good. But then after that, they just took everybody they possibly could and crammed them on that roster while still keeping under the salary cap, which is incredibly impressive. We got Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar, 2 great wide receivers that usually go under the radar because they're playing with other good receivers and or bad teams. Like Nelson Aguilar was with the Eagles and the Raiders. Didn't really shine that much because they're on that team, but you saw some of the games that Nelson Aguilar had. He was playing great. He had some amazing games with the Raiders last year. And it's not just the receivers. We went out and got 2 top 10 tight ends.
2 top 6 tight ends.
Yes. Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, which is amazing for this team. We have been needing a tight end ever since Gronk left. Ryan Izzo wasn't doing the job. Jacob Hollister.
We had zero.
They did what they needed to, but this is going to take us to the next level.
I'm pretty sure we had 0 receptions from our tight ends last year.
Yeah.
That's not
something
true.
like.
Not true. But.
Well, I mean, figuratively. But now we have 2 top targets now, along with 2 fast wide receivers, great route runners on the edges. It's gonna work. And then not to forget, we got Trent Brown for only a 5th round draft pick, which is very impressive. This is gonna be great for Cam because our line looked like turnstiles last year with all the people out and everything, especially with David Andrews back too.
Yeah, and also, can I add on top of this is we got Matthew Judon. He fits. He's a perfect
I was just about to go. I
fit.
was just about to go with
He
defense too.
literally,
Yeah.
he is a perfect scheme. If you wanted to, Bill Belichick went to a lab and said, cook me up a guy who does everything that I want and doesn't have an ego and does everything the Patriot way. This guy fits in so perfectly. He's just gonna fit right in with the guys. He doesn't, even though he's very good, he's not gonna, he doesn't have that ego, like that diva type mentality that the Patriots never have. I absolutely love this signing because we need a guy that can get to the quarterback because we haven't had that the last couple of years here.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, we got two other great
Your
linebackers, Raekwon
across-
McMillan and Kyle Van Noy's coming back.
Right.
And the D line too.
What was
Godshaw?
Godshaw?
Von
Yep,
Godshaw.
Godshaw, Montravius Adams,
Great. I don't know
Lawrence
if you
Guys
guys have
coming back.
seen the Miami defense last year. Their run stopping ability, fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic
be
against
great.
the run. And we just snagged one of their better run stoppers, and we're gonna plop him. So our two holes on defense for me personally, it was all to do with the line. It was we couldn't get to the quarterback and we couldn't stop the run. Not only did we get a run stopper and a guy that could get to the quarterback, now we have linebackers that opted back in that can fill in the gaps. I think we're going to be a really good team this year. We're definitely the winner of free agency.
And one more, we also boosted our defensive backs too. We got Jalen Mills and we got Justin Bethel for a little extra help in there.
Right.
But
I didn't even think we needed that. Now, what do you think?
Yeah, they're going to join
Gilmore
in a great pass defense.
Do you think we trade Gilmore, or do you think we keep him around?
I think we at least keep him for one more year. I don't see him going anywhere until at least next year.
I think Gilmore restructures his contract before the draft, and then they make a lot of the money for this year. They either proportionate throughout the next couple of years, because I do think he did come out and say he wants an extension in New England. He loves New England, so I wouldn't be surprised to give him like a 3-year extension for like $25 million. I mean, he understands the Patriot way. He's been there for a couple of years. He knows his contract is big. So
he's been in Buffalo, like where they didn't optimize all his skills and stuff. So now he went to New England and he's like, these guys are the real deal. These guys can help me as much as I can help them. And I think he understands what Belichick and the whole coaching staff and the whole environment does for him. There's this, fable that Brady was only the Patriot way. No, it was everything to do with New England. And Brady was a big part of it. But ever since he left, you still see guys like Gilmore and even Cam has that mentality. And I love Cam as in a leader of men type way. This guy can lead. Like he has a great attitude all the time. He's the first guy in, last guy out.
Mm-hmm.
May not be as talented anymore. He's a little more injured and stuff, a little more injury prone, doesn't have the best arm maybe. But I love the fact that he's so confident in himself. He's confident in his teammates. Great attitude. I love it.
Absolutely. So it seems like me and you were in agreement on who won who won.
Now, what would you predict the record of, I think just to do this for fun, what do you think the record of the Giants and the Patriots are going to be? I think we should all do that.
Like I said, I think the Giants' floor, actually, I think their floor will be 9-8, and they'll be a fringe playoff team, depending on what the rest of the NFC East does. And their ceiling is 13-4, potential 3 seed in the NFC.
Because I almost forgot about that. There's an extra game added on now.
Yeah, there is an extra game. That's crazy, first of all.
Yeah.
And then for the Patriots, for me, I think their floor is also 9-8. I think this team is going to win a couple games. They're going to win a lot more games than last year. I mean, Belichick watched Brady go to another team and win a Super Bowl. Belichick is angry. He does not want Brady to win more rings. So he's going to make sure they do not have a losing season ever again while Brady is still in the NFL. So I think their floor is at least 9-8. I think you're going to have a top 10 defense. I think this rushing attack is going to be pretty freaking good. I can see about 140 rush yards per game. Kendrick could be a stud on the outside, especially with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. They're really prioritizing the offense towards Cam because they know his arm isn't the best. It's not what it used to be. So they're going to have a lot of stuff over the middle with Hunter Henry, John Smith. I can see Kendrick Bourne getting a deep ball once in a while. Nelson Aguilar, deep ball. But they're going to prioritize this offense for Cam.
Especially with these signings, they're preparing for a much more shorter game than what they've previously had.
The 4, 9, and 8. I think their ceiling, and this is 100% realistic, 15-2. Because this defense could be very elite. The last time Josh McDaniels had 2 elite tight ends on his team, and let me tell you, they were Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez.
Whoa.
The team went 14.
Whoa.
The team went 14.
Whoa.
They had the number 1 offense in the league.
15-2?
15-2.
Buddy, I'm a Patriots fan.
Like you just said, the tight end point is very good. Last time McDaniels had 2 top
slow your roll, man.
We played amazing.
We signed a lot of great players. 15-2? That's the best team in the AFC.
Belichick no, it won't be the best team in the AFC, but Belichick is the greatest coach on the planet at this.
No doubt. I think he's the greatest coach of all time in football. Not even just college and just in total, he is the best coach ever.
Exactly. So
he optimizes every single piece he gets.
If he
perfect amount.
Optimizes every single piece, you're gonna have a top 3 defense and a top 3 offense. And that's why I think you could go 15-2.
I could see a possibility of a top 3 defense. I don't know about a top 3 offense because it's going to be very slow paced, grinded out type stuff. We're going to be winning games 24-13, stuff like that. I see a lot of wins like that. I don't see a high powered offense.
I think it may not be
play action.
Top 3 offense in total yardage or something, but efficiency wise.
Yeah.
It's going to be grind down field. It's 70% pass completion percentage and just grind right down.
And we've always been a staple of screen passes. We haven't really used them in the recent years, last year pretty much. I shouldn't say recent, just last year pretty much. We didn't really use it because it wasn't we didn't have the personnel for it basically. Because our offensive line were turnstiles, so they'd actually get to Cam before he even ended up throwing it. I remember a couple times.
Yeah.
But
a realistic prediction for the Patriots though is 11-6.
Okay.
But like I said, 4, 9, and 8 if the offense isn't as efficient, and then 15-2 if your defense is just elite in your offense. Like I said, Josh McDaniels has had 2 stud tight ends before, and the potential of those 2 tight ends, plus the O-line got better. It could be a different season for the Patriots.
Let me ask this. Do you think there's a possibility that we reclaim the throne as the best team in the AFC East?
If you go 15-2.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be passing Buffalo because Buffalo's just been too good.
Buffalo has a great Sean. I can't even think of his name right now. Their head coach there, McDermott. Sean McDermott. I absolutely love him. I went to school up in Buffalo, so I know all those really unrealistic Bills fans. They just don't know what they're talking about. But I will say Sean McDermott is what turned them around. It's not Josh Allen. It's not everything that all these Bills fans that are out of their minds will tell you. It is Sean McDermott. He went out. I remember they went 11-5 2 years ago, and I said, what you guys need is a number 1 receiver. That's what you really need because they had a great defense at that time. What they did, went out and got Stephon Diggs. What happened? They became a top 5 team in the NFL.
They took Stephon Diggs, a top 10, and just straight up in one season turned into a top 3, top 2 even. The man went ahead and put the league, set the league on fire last year.
Yeah.
And that was exactly what Buffalo needed. That took them to the next level, and that took them right.
But I think the Patriots, I don't see, that's the thing. I don't know if we have that capability to even if we have a better record than Buffalo, let's say we go 15-2 and they go 14-3, are you going to be more scared to play Buffalo or New England in the playoffs? That's where I'm what team is a bigger powerhouse? You know what I mean? 2 years ago when the Chiefs weren't they 12-4, 11-5?
13-3.
No, 2 years ago when they lost a couple games and Mahomes was out for a couple games when they won the Super Bowl. 12-4, right? Now they were 12-4, but like you saw at the end of the season, they were the best team in the league. Like they lost a couple games, but they were the best team in the league. So it's not always about record; it's about who goes in the playoffs, playing the best football. Now I trust Belichick, but let me just go ahead and say this: their floor, I'd agree with you. It's 9-8. Their ceiling, I'm not going 15-2. That's a stretch.
That's right.
I'd
16 all the way to the top.
Yeah, I'd say 16. No, I'm just kidding. I'd say 14-3, and that's with everything going perfectly because there's too many teams that are just a little more talented than us. Now we have a great
realistic.
scheme,
I have to say that.
but I'd say 14-3 is if we maximize everything, we're still going to lose 3 games just based off of not having a top 5 quarterback, not, like just stuff like that where Cam is, I think personally Cam's going to be an upper tier quarterback this year. I think he's going to be about like a top 15 guy, maybe fringe top 10, like right at the end of top 10. I think he's going to play great and everyone's going to eat their words of what they were saying because we have a perfect system around him. But that being said, I still think, the guys like Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, even Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Patty Mahomes, Brady. There's just too many guys that are just a lot better than Cam at what he does. So,
and we have to save our yearly loss for the away game in Miami.
Oh yeah, well
we all know
every year.
Happen.
So
we all know
there's always a loss in Miami. And Miami, what's the possibility that they get Chase and I've seen some mocks where they get Chase and on top of that they also get Najee Harris. Holy cow, what the heck? That they might even be like the AFC East might turn into the best division.
And then the Jets, but
well,
the
Jets are
top
the
3
Jets.
teams.
I think the Jets is going to be. They're not going to be the Jets of old.
I think they'll be like 5-12.
They'll have a hard fought schedule. They're going to fight for every game because Robert Saleh is going to instill. I mean, you see, I don't know if you've seen or watched San Francisco games the last couple of years, but when you watch that defense play and you watch Robert Saleh, the energy that he just brings, not even to the defense, but to the whole team, is just incredible. And
I remember
New York Jets.
What was it was them against the Saints. What was it? 1 or 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago. That was like a 50-point each game.
Yeah, that was the
energy was flowing in there, and you could see his defense was trying their hardest, even though they couldn't stop him. But it was back and forth, and it was definitely a game to watch. So seeing that brought over to New York, it actually gives me a little bit of faith in their team.
I think the Jets finally found a coach who's not going to be a joke. Adam Gase. I don't know why they hired him.
I don't know. Yeah, Adam Gase was the worst decision they could have made.
But they moved on.
Well,
but this is a prime example of a coach coming over and completely changing a team. I think that's what's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I was going to say, let me finish up real quick.
Yeah.
So I said their floor is 9-8. Their ceiling 14-3. Everything goes right. Now, what I think is realistically going to happen, I see a 12-5 season from the Patriots this year. Not a division winner. I think Buffalo's going to take the division at 14-3. I think we're going to go 12-5. We're going to lose 5, but I think we're going to be really good in the playoffs, and you could look for us to make a really deep playoff run, possible Super Bowl appearance even. I really, truly believe that with our defense and our scheme. I truly believe that.
All right. Before we move on to losers, I just wanted to point out the Christmas stocking hanging up behind Ryan. So, yeah.
Which Ryan? This one?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
You talking about this Ryan or that Ryan?
No, that Ryan.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I'm in my bud's room right now. And, that has some meaning behind it. I forgot what the meaning is, but
We'll learn about that at a later date.
Yeah, some other time.
I'll learn about it later. But
Yeah.
yeah, that has some meaning behind it. Don't worry about it.
All right. So going to the losers of the draft. I'm gonna start off, or not the draft, the free agency. I'm gonna start off, and I'm gonna choose one team for one sole reason. I'm going with the Bears. Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
the pity party that is the Bears.
Can I
And they're very, very questionable signing of Andy Dalton after they just could not get anybody else to come to their team.
Let me just explain to you what happened with the Bears. This offseason, they said, okay, we need a QB. Mitchell Trubisky, MVP, the Nickelodeon valuable player. He is not enough. So they said, okay, what QBs are in the market? Carson Wentz. Let's look at him. The Colts got him. Okay. Let's see.
Never pulled the trigger. They never got to him.
They never got to him. Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's look at him. They're asking for a high price. We're gonna just go on. Let's see. Deshaun Watson. The Texans organization is in hot fire and flames right now. We're not gonna bother with that. Russell Wilson. We're gonna give you 3 first-round picks and 2 starters and a 3rd-round pick. And the Seahawks said no. So instead of pursuing more for Russell Wilson, they gave up and said, what is the best available option in free agency? Fitzmagic already left. Cam Newton is already with the Patriots. Tyrod Taylor already went to the Texans, and they settled for the Red Rifle. and then they got laughed at, and then they said, he is our bona fide starter for week 1.
And they started laughing harder. Oh, my God. It's just a dumpster fire over there.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I would have stuck with Mitch at that point.
Yeah, listen, is this the season where Khalil Mack finally gets traded? Do we see that defense get split up?
Well, they already cut Kyle Fuller because of the cap issues.
Yep.
They
and someone immediately picked him up.
Who picked him up?
Denver Broncos. He went to his old coach and Vic Fangio in the Broncos.
That's a heck of a pickup.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heck of a pickup. Kyle Fuller is one of my favorite players.
They're also another team who I think is going to be sneaky good, but we'll talk about them later on at some other point. But they lost Kyle Fuller. Roy Robertson Harris, a rotational D tackle. He was a pretty good rotational D tackle for the Bears. We took him. We, as in Jacksonville, took him from the Bears. So they're losing key pieces on the defense. And they just haven't fixed the offense. Making the playoffs for them last year was the worst thing they could have done as an organization.
Mm-hmm. They just gave nothing to work with.
I know this was your team, but
you basically said everything. That was my sole reason for them being a loser.
So Ryan, do you agree that
they brought in Andy Dalton?
Do you agree, Ryan, that they were there? Are they the loser for you too?
They weren't my loser. I have 2 other teams in mind, but I want to see who you say before I say my team.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex. My case is already made.
And this might be a little bit out there. The Tennessee Titans.
Okay, I like that.
And let me tell you why. There is no worse of a place to be for a team to be in limbo. They are literally in limbo. They're not going up. They're not going down. They are staying in the same. Actually, they might have declined a little bit. And they had a couple years there where they could have literally won the Super Bowl. They could have been world champions in football.
Mm-hmm.
They had that type of talent. Now, those guys walk away. You get a couple free agents that leave every year. So now you're down your talent. You have Derrick Henry and Tannehill on huge contracts. And they're not going to amount to anything anymore. I don't even think they're going to be a playoff team for the next 3-4 years. I think we see Derrick Henry, if not traded, he leaves in free agency once his contract runs out in 3-4 years.
Well, here's the thing.
I think that's what happens because they are not getting any better and they're not going to win. It's like it really is it's a crapshoot down there. Nothing's happening. They're just staying the same. And if you're not getting better, someone else is getting better. That's how it works.
What the Titans did. They realized they needed a pass rush. They had a historically bad pass rush next year. Their defense was historically, because of that historically bad pass rush, their defense was not as good as years past, which is in turn why I think Lamar Jackson's win against them was kind of a joke, but that's a whole different thing. So what they decided to do is they cut their entire secondary. Every starter except for Kevin Byard was cut.
And Byard is a bona fide star. Like that guy's he's legit.
Top 10 safety, arguably top 5.
And when you cut all of his like teammates around him, he's not going to be happy either.
Bree Jackson, Kenny Vaccaro. I can't even name the other corners. Desmond King is still there because of trade. But so they have Desmond King and Kevin Byard coming back from last year's team. And they're going to have to either draft or sign a bunch of new guys. But the reason why they did that is because they can get a pass rusher. And they got Bud Dupree. The thing about Bud Dupree is that he was alongside TJ Watt, who was, in my opinion, the defensive player of the year last year. Got snubbed because Aaron Donald is just Aaron Donald. But TJ Watt was the best defensive player on the field last year, and Bud Dupree was playing alongside him. So is Bud Dupree going to be that number one? Who knows? Plus, he's coming off an ACL tear. So is he even going to return to form? We don't. So they took a massive risk cutting their whole entire secondary on a guy who's coming off an ACL tear, who played alongside the best defensive player in football last year. And they're hoping that this guy is going to lead their pass rush. That's a lot of risk. Whole lot of risk for this team. Plus, they got rid of Corey Davis, a big target.
Yeah, I was also going to add that they lost Corey Davis, so now AJ Brown,
reliable slot wide receiver.
Yeah, and AJ Brown is my favorite receiver in the league because he's real big, real physical, just real extremely talented. But Corey Davis, that helped because when he would get doubled or there would be, they'd pay that extra attention to AJ Brown. Corey Davis was right there, to make those plays. Now he's not there.
So a lot of people just paid attention to AJ Brown, not realizing that Corey Davis was arguably just as good.
Okay.
Just a little smaller, but he was. You saw how many great games he had last year.
He was solid,
he did
dude.
great.
He ain't AJ Brown. AJ Brown's almost top 5, if not top 5.
AJ Brown is top 10 in the league. 100%
Yeah,
top.
If not top 5, he's just about top 5 for me. He's like a little outside, but he's my favorite receiver to watch. He's so physical. Now he doesn't have that second guy to rely on. So the Titans are definitely the losers. And they gave Tannehill all that money thinking that would lead to a Super Bowl, and they didn't surround him with anyone.
Plus,
Tannehill can't elevate everyone.
The Titans drafted Isaiah Wilson last year in the late first round. And then and then they decided to trade him for a 7th round pick this year. So they also lost in that terms.
Yeah.
All right. So we had a quick break right there, and I decided to put a little festivity behind me.
Whoa.
Is that behind you?
That's you.
Jeez.
It's your old thing.
Jesus.
Anyway, right back to it. Ryan,
so
you're going to bring up your loser of the free agency.
I think my losers of free agency.
Losers?
I'll go with 2.
Okay.
I'll go with the New Orleans Saints and the Seattle Seahawks. So New Orleans Saints. They cut their whole defense. There's not a lot else to say. I mean, they cut their whole defense or traded away their whole defense, and Drew Brees retired. So yes, the offense could still be good, but
the offense could be better. Drew Brees was a minus on the field last year, to be honest.
Jameis Winston is not better than Drew Brees. I'm sorry.
$140 million says Taysom Hill is better than Drew Brees. $140 million.
I mean, with that, this defense will be historically bad. All they have is Marshawn Lattimore and Cam Jordan. I don't know where they're going to get 9 other players to replace everyone else, but their defense is going to be historically bad next year. And I think I said on here, and I'll say it again, Alvin Kamara might rush for 2,000 yards, and their team will go 6-11.
Yeah.
So the defense is just going to be pitiful. Sean Payton is not a defensive coach. He's an offensive coach. So he has to rely on someone else. I don't know, because Dan Campbell, the defensive coordinator, is in Detroit now. So not only are they losing their whole defense, they're having a new defensive coordinator now coaching. Yep. So the Saints definitely lost free agency. No defense.
It's almost like the Chiefs minus the defense. They're going to run up the score, but they're not going to have anything to stop the others from scoring.
Exactly. And then the Seattle Seahawks, they're losers because they lost a couple key pieces from their defense, Shaq Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
But the main reason they didn't fix what Russell Wilson wanted. They said they didn't say, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to trade Russell Wilson. They understand that Russell Wilson is a generational QB.
Right.
He's a very talented QB. And he has come out multiple times and said he wants an O-line. And they tried to fix it with Gabe Jackson. Gabe Jackson, don't get me wrong, he's a great guard in the league. But that's about it. They're bringing back basically the same offense. I mean, they do have a new offensive coordinator, so maybe they can switch some things up.
You think they go in the draft and they grab like a tackle or something?
They could. There's the potential of them grabbing a tackle in the draft, but they don't have a first or second round pick. So
that's a little hard to do.
They only have 3 picks in this year's draft. So
they have to do something.
They don't have many picks to fill in the rest of the holes, and they don't have money to fill in the holes they already have.
Well, see, their thing is when they traded for Jamal Adams, that was supposed to be the extra cherry on top. All right, we're contenders. This is gonna put us over the top. They still didn't fix the problem. That it wasn't the problem. Wasn't not having Jamal Adams or that generational safety. The problem was the O-line, and it's been the problem for the last 5 years.
Because we've always known that the Seahawks were defensive minded. Ever since the Legion of Boom, they've always really tried hard with their defense. And now when they're asked to focus on offense, they just don't deliver, and Russ isn't happy with it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they did take Metcalf last year in the second round, to be fair.
Yeah.
But, again, that was in the second round, and I think they wouldn't have taken him if he didn't drop that far. It was one of those things where, like, all right, we have to get this guy. Like, do you see how far he dropped? Like, this is insane.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things.
It would be a crime if we didn't pick him.
Yeah.
It was almost like an impulse. It was almost like an impulse kind of vibe. Like he's still here. We have to get him.
Yeah. Like, what's going on here? Like, he fell into our lap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my 2 free agency losers. Pretty self-explanatory, I think, if you look at what they've done. I guess I'll give 2 honorable mentions, not for like losing the free agency or anything, but just like what as like a whole in the off season, the Eagles and the Texans. I mean,
the Texans, of course.
I'll start with the Eagles. They traded away a franchise QB in Carson Wentz. Now, did it have to happen? Yes. Both parties were not happy with each other, so I understand why they did it. But then in turn try and trade up to get Zach Wilson, can't get Zach Wilson, so then they trade back. What are they doing? I don't like. They say they're rebuilding, but this is not how you rebuild. You don't, because they had the potential of either getting Kyle Pitts, Devontae Smith, or Jamar Chase, and now at 12, your best bet, in my opinion, will probably be Jalen Waddle.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to hope for someone to drop at that point.
But hey, maybe Waddle has the potential to be possibly the best receiver in this draft. That's how deep this receiver draft is, though. So, Waddle has incredible potential. And we saw at Alabama, he was one of the best. If not, there was nights where he was the best guy on the field.
Alex, here's the thing, though.
But do the Eagles not have any faith in
Eagles have never drafted receivers. I mean, for Christ's sake, they drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf, and they drafted Jalen Reagor.
They're very bad with it.
Yeah, Jalen Reagor he's been an absolute bust for me.
That is just in the last Jalen Reagor. What'd you say, Alex?
He's been like a bust for me because he was really hyped coming out of college. He was supposed to be, he fell. Like, this guy's legit. This guy had top 10 type talent, and he hasn't done diddly.
Who?
Jalen Reagor.
Jalen Reagor was not top 10 material at all. He was maybe early second round pick.
No, they took him really early, but he was supposed to be taken later.
And
he had the talent, but not first round.
He hasn't been a bust because he's only been a rookie. So we can't call people bust after 1 year.
Was Mitch Trubisky
he didn't live up to what people thought he would. He still did well, but he didn't live up.
Year. So now Mitch Trubisky.
He's not a Pro Bowler. Get the fuck out of here. Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky was the Pro Bowler in 2018.
Okay, well, that's because his team was good. He's not talented at all.
But he was a Pro Bowler.
Okay, when Jalen Reagor makes the Pro Bowl, then talk to me, all right? Then you can send me a text and say, Alex, you were wrong. And I'll be like, you're right. I was wrong. Jalen Reagor is a freaking Pro Bowler. That's what I'll say.
I'm not saying Jalen Reagor is going to be a top wide receiver in the country or in the NFL. All I'm saying is that he's going to be better than what people think. I think he has some good potential. I think he's going to be a solid contributor to this team if they use him right and if they stick with Jalen Hurts. I mean, they're giving up on Jalen Hurts after 4 games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know why they even bothered trying to trade up.
Everyone's saying move off for Hurts, move off for Hurts. This guy won games.
He won 1.
Yeah, but they were in every game, and they would have beat Dallas if they didn't bench him.
No, it was Washington.
Was that Washington? Okay, my mistake. But you get what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. I'm not high on Jalen Hurts. I've never been high on Jalen Hurts. When you move from the SEC to Big 12, you instantly go down in my eyes. So I've never been high on him. But you got to at least give the kid a chance because I know he has potential. He does have a good arm. He has good mobility. So give the kid a chance. You can't just go off of him just like that. Because I can tell you this, he is a lot more talented than Josh Rosen was for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
way more.
It's starting to become like that, where because the Cardinals won, they had the number 1 pick, so it's understandable why they moved off of Josh Rosen. Eagles don't have the number 1 pick; they have the 12th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they get the number 1 pick next year, then that's understandable because then you have a whole season of Jalen Hurts under your belt. But he only played 4 games. You got to give him at least a.
It just seems like it's like an Eagles kind of curse. They don't know how to handle their quarterbacks. They lost the trust and respect of Carson, and he won out. And now they're almost going to go down the same road with Jalen after thinking like we want to draft someone new. That's not going to put a good feeling in his head for this season after seeing how they wanted to toss him out right away.
He's going to be looking over his shoulder the entire season. Like, is someone coming for my job? Mm-hmm. Give the kid a chance. I mean, you've seen him even in college. He was phenomenal at Oklahoma. You saw when he went to more of that pro-style offense in Oklahoma, he was phenomenal. He was a Heisman candidate. He was absolutely fantastic.
But that was also against Big 12 competition, wasn't SEC.
But still, he played a pro-style offense and went from like Alabama, where it was a completely different offense. This suited him better. It was. I think he was really good. I think you got to give him a chance. Not saying he's going to be great. Give the kid a chance.
And then the Texans.
Okay.
Yeah, we all know.
Yeah, we all know
what happened.
We didn't. That wasn't even. I think it was all like those are they're the biggest loser.
I'm not even going to touch on their free agency, what they've done.
They're almost running a slander campaign on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, it's up to 21 allegations now, by the way. It was just came out.
It's up to 24
24?
Oh, my God.
Deshaun Watson is 24 allegations? Okay.
Here's the thing. I've been following Deshaun Watson since he was at Clemson, since he was a freshman at Clemson. So the first started. There's nothing in the last 8 years of me following Deshaun Watson that has showed me that he is a piece of shit that the Texans are showing him to be. All these allegations, I think, are all false. Deshaun Watson he has so many charities in Houston. He loves the people of Houston. He loves the fans. He's
a great man. He's just a great person. But what are all these saying? Like, are they true? You can't have. There's no way 24 women are lying their tails off. There's no way.
Yeah, it comes to the point when like when it like if it like reaches 10, like you start getting like a little suspicious. But when it reaches 24, you start really wondering, like, is there actually something going on here?
Well,
Or
obviously
is
there's
it the
something.
Texans doing this, or is there actually something happening?
The numbers just keep going up, and it's I can't believe it. Even like if it was like 5, it'll be like, okay, and they stop. But 24, there's no way there's 24 women have gotten whatever they're accusing of Deshaun Watson doing. There's no way.
How many instances can there be? And they're not accusing him of rape or anything like that, from what I'm aware of. It's just like sexual conduct, like where he'll like try and make a move even though they don't want it or something like that.
That's why a lot of people are
Am I
skeptical
correct in
about
that?
what am I correct
in that?
like
It's
why
in
the
pursuit.
Texans bring this up and everything. A lot of them haven't even been reported to
and
any like jail, not what was it,
a police
police
station or
departments,
anything like that. Yeah,
only a few of them have, and those few are definitely worrisome. But
Houston PD literally said none of these reports have been reported to them. So all these are just allegations right now. And the only thing the Texans are doing are diminishing his trade value, which makes absolutely no sense.
They want to keep him, so they diminish his value and make him look like an absolute horrible person, just an absolute monster.
Yeah.
What is that going to say?
But then in the end, they're going to say, we'll still keep him.
What is that
bring
going to
him
do
around
for free agents now? Like that, hey, we wanted to play with Deshaun Watson. In my opinion, he's the second best quarterback in the league behind Mahomes. That's it. I'd take Watson over everyone but Mahomes.
It's just tarnishing their.
And what is that going to do now?
If this is a smear campaign that they're running on him, this is not helping them whatsoever. Sure, they get to keep Deshaun Watson, but they're not going to bring in any free agents because they're not going to want to play with him, and no one's going to want to trade for Deshaun or give him anything because they're not going to want him on his team. This is hurting the Texans more than it's actually hurting Deshaun.
Cal McNair needs to sell the team.
He does.
What he has done to this organization, what him and Bill O'Brien have done to this organization in the last 3 years is pitiful. From trading for Laramie Tunsil, giving up a ton of picks, trading away Dwayne Brown, your franchise left tackle, for 7 years, trading away DeAndre Hopkins because he asked for a contract extension. And Bill O'Brien said he has too many baby mamas. That is the reason why
it's terrible.
Because he didn't have a wife. Because he had multiple childs from multiple partners.
Good old Texas. I can't. Oh my God.
Good old Texas.
Incredible. It's incredible.
Can't get anything together.
And then now this Deshaun Watson. It's disgusting what they're doing. They should sell the team. Honestly,
they're running a smear campaign on themselves.
If all this comes back false, the Houston Texans should disband as an organization. Because they will
move the whole franchise.
Let me add something. Let me just add something here. If this comes back as false and everything was all set up, this comes out 10 years from now or something like that, that this was all set up just to diminish his value so you'd have to stay in Houston, this would be one of the most corrupt things in sports history. This will go down like the Black Sox, where they threw the World Series. This will go down like Spygate. This will go down like that. Like, it is unbelievable.
Well, what's your opinion on the Deshaun Watson?
Brecker, what do you think about the Deshaun Watson situation right now?
I don't know. He's got to figure his life out. He's getting a lot of offers, but honestly, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about Watson.
All right, so that was a pointless addition to the conversation.
Yeah, guys.
No, wait. I got one more thing. Kong or Zilla, everyone. Kong or Zilla, who's winning?
Kong or Zilla.
Wait, what'd you say?
Kong or Zilla. Who's going to win?
King Kong is going to give him the fucking 1-2.
Yeah, I'm picking King Kong.
Yeah, it's Kong. King Kong. We already know the plot of the movie. It's going to be Kong.
Dude, Kong is going to beat the shit out of this guy. Like, he's going to be fucking all these helicopters. He's going to fucking give him the 1-2 Mayweather, a little bop combo. Might have a little weave, left hook. You know what I mean? A little Sean O'Malley fucking kick.
Thank you, everybody, for watching our fourth episode. I'm Jaden Rogers. With me, as always, Ryan Martell and Alex Martell. Look out for our next episode coming next week. It'll be, and once again, we actually have an interview lined up for tomorrow, which will be Friday 2nd, and another one coming up very soon. So look out for those. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.